when you talk about integrating a player in a team, there's two aspects to it. There's the man management side, and I think our colleague, I think Craig Burley, said something that was very, very apt about this. Craig's often been critical of Solskjaer over decisions and whatever, but one aspect that he thought Solskjaer was really, really solid on, and I think so too, is man management.
Yeah,
I think he's really good. My understanding is
Definitely.
most of the players really like him as a person,
completely.
and he's good and he motivates them or whatever. So I think that part isn't so much of an issue. But tactically, he's got to play somewhere in the team. So where does he play? I suggested before a front two is the most rational decision. I don't know if it's workable at United.
I have big doubts on the front two, I have to be honest. Even if you convince me, and I mean, I knew I didn't need your convincing, but that is probably his best position. I agree with you. He needs someone next to him. I really don't think they can play like that. I don't think they can play with the front two, have a diamond midfield with Bruno as the number 10. I think you lose so much out of Bruno in that formation. And you cannot forget, even if he's Cristiano's friend and he's welcoming him, you can't forget how important Bruno is for this team and how efficient and how he's carried that team in the last 18 months. That suddenly you can't just go, you know what, we're going to play you in a position that doesn't suit you, where you might not be as good just for Cristiano. I'm not sure this is going to work. What happened to Jadon Sancho? Even if you play with the front two, there's no width, certainly on that right-hand side with Wan-Bissaka. So, what do you do? I just think it's a bit of a headache now going forward. In that game against Wolves, if you put Cristiano there, let's say instead of Greenwood and Greenwood wide, for example, instead of Dan James, what is Cristiano doing in that game? Nothing. There's no service. There's no crosses. There's no movement. There's absolutely nothing apart from the flick from Bruno for Greenwood just before halftime, and then I guess the goal, and that's it.
So the other issue then, so then it looks like we're heading towards, from what you're saying, a 4-2-3-1 setup, which is like the one we saw, and you made that analogy. So that has first of all, that has a knock-on effect on Pogba, because a lot of people are convinced that Pogba in a 2 doesn't work. Personally, I disagree a little bit with it.
Yesterday, he left them a bit exposed again defensively. He doesn't like doing that.
He seems to like it when he plays for France, but then again, he's got 4 central defenders behind him when he plays for France. And Conte. And Matic and Fred aren't Conte. Okay, so there's an issue with Pogba, but then again, Pogba's contract is expiring, so he'll be gone next summer if he doesn't extend his deal. If you go 4-2-3-1 and you play him centrally, right? That's the idea. And then you've got Sancho and Greenwood, or Sancho and Rashford when he returns. I just wonder a little bit about it, because I think it can be done, but the threat of running behind will then have to come from Sancho and Rashford.
Yeah.
Bruno Fernandes isn't going to do it either, right? And then you have an issue because they're going to have to cover a lot of ground, because they're also going to have to help the fullbacks as well. So if you're going to ask him to be so advanced all the time, that is the part which doesn't, unless your plan is just, Cristiano's always the out ball, just lump the ball to him, he's big and strong, he'll control it. Yeah, but then he's going to get the crap kicked out of him.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think you need crosses in the box, and even if they're in the air, it's so good in the air that I think you need more deliveries. That you have to tell to Wan-Bissaka, come here training. Everybody trains in the morning, you train in the morning, but in the afternoon you stay behind, and we're going to do crosses to improve him, because it would be silly to have a player like Cristiano in your team, whether he plays on his own up front or with another striker, and not giving that service in the air, because he would be so dominant. Then in terms of running in behind, we saw Bruno doing it at times, sometimes when Pogba pushed the ball over the top. But they need to find a way. Yesterday against Wolves, Sunday against Wolves, that line of 4, James, Sancho, Bruno and Greenwood, they were all on the same line. No one was dropping in between the lines to get the ball. There was not enough movement. And I'm just thinking, it's not Cristiano at 36 that's going to add movement to this team. So they need to find something somewhere.
But that's on social. You tell people to move, and they move. Sancho's not dumb. Rashford's not dumb.
Yeah, no,
Bruno Fernandes can find space, right?
He should. I just think that if there's no space, if there's no movement and nothing without Cristiano, I just don't know with Cristiano in that team how you're going to resolve it.
Most people agree, because he's always scored a ton of goals, that add Cristiano, put him on the pitch, you're going to get another 30 goals a year. I mean, objectively, it's going to be less than that because you will cannibalize goals from whoever he replaces, obviously. I look at this, and for me, I ask myself, does this make United better than the other contenders? And if you were to ask me right now, I would say that City, Chelsea, and Liverpool are, if you asked me before the Cristiano deal, I would have said City, Chelsea, and Liverpool are a level above United.
Yeah.
And you add Cristiano, I'm not sure that this closes the gap.
Oh, it has to. It's still Cristiano. He will score 3 goals with 1.5 chances. He will. No, he will. He really will. I have to say, I'm a bit worried for Bruno because Cristiano will take the penalties. You would assume.
Yeah.
I mean, he does it with Portugal when Bruno is in the team. So, and I do wonder if Bruno will have the same freedom. And we saw how well that works with Greenwood when Greenwood drops and Bruno can take all that space in behind. I'm not sure that he will have that with Cristiano. So I have to say, I'm a bit worried.
But you think going back to the overall team thing, you think just adding Cristiano, leaving aside some of the problems he may make, because obviously he's going to bring a ton of positives too.
Yeah.
You think this puts them on a level with City, Chelsea, and Liverpool?
It has to be. It has to be. A City with no strikers, not signing Kane. I know you love Ferran Torres, and I know he's been good lately, but still, I do think that the pressure is bigger and mounting on Solskjaer to find the right formula and the right way of them playing. But Cristiano in your team, of course, it's still Cristiano. He's still the greatest goal scorer the world has ever seen, pretty much. And he's in your team, even at 36, in a league that he knows, where he's going to be the boss, in a club that he knows, with all that buzz and all the momentum that he's bringing to the club. For me, they can go and win this title.
No, I think they can win it. Right now, I still have those other 3 teams marginally ahead of them.
Maybe. So they play Newcastle next, which could be his debut after the international break.
It's expected to be, yeah.
Then Young Boys and West Ham. I think it will be very interesting against those kind of teams where I'm not sure how much space United will get to see how he does, how they play. But I would think that Solskjaer will need a bit of time to get it right, if he ever gets it right.
And I would assume he's going to come off the bench against Newcastle, if that is his debut, just because you'll be coming back from an international break, obviously. He wouldn't have had much training time.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.